Okay, we're going to talk about building a pillow from scratch. So pillows are a little different than cushions. Cushions are a little sharper edges, even though they're rounder. But pillows are a lot different, so we need to look at the anatomy of a pillow and how to work with it. So basically, you want to get into polygon modeling, and you want to start with a cube. Believe it or not, you start with a cube. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to find the thickness of the pillow first. So, and then we'll work from there. So let's just say from the cube, that's a very full, thick pillow. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with adding an edge loop to the center or close to the center. Okay, get it close as you can. If you made a mistake, you can just hit the W key and just move it where you want it. Okay, the second thing is we're going to go ahead and scale that. Okay, so you can see that we need to get the shape. So now we've got the shape. So we're talking about a throw pillow. Now obviously pillows are different. So if you have a large pillow, then you can create a little larger pillow if you need to. All right, so with a pillow, there's not a whole lot that you have to worry about except for setting up the edges. And you can see I went into smooth preview just to see what it would look like. Okay. So we need to create a beveled edge to the sides, okay? But before I do all that beveling and stuff, I need to create some edge loops here to keep it from caving in on itself. Of course, we got to kind of experiment with that to find out how those edge loops are going to work, okay? So when I create those edge loops, again, we need to think about how the structure of your pillow, how it will react to the divisions and all that stuff. So I've got those divisions in there. It looks a lot different than the cushions, right? Let's hit the 3 key and kind of look at what we've got so far, and that looks pretty good. Okay. Again, it's not perfect. You know, we can kind of figure it out as we go along. So I'm going to go in here to selection mode. And you can see how it looks. Now it's a little bit thick, okay, and we may want to scale this down a little bit. So we can do all that stuff depending on what your pillow looks like. We can expand it out so the pillow looks a little, looks the way you want it to look. So it's good to have references, right? All right, so you can smooth the edges too if you want those to be a little bit smoother. Then you would add the edge loops a little wider, okay? So here's a good way to start. So get your size of your pillow, whatever that pillow might be. And if you make mistakes, you can take the edge loops out. So just by clicking on the edge loops, okay? It's simple. So select those edge loops that I just created. I can do Control, Delete, and that will take care of everything. What I can do now is I can go back in here, okay? I can select the edges of this, okay, and make that a little bit bigger if I want to. Okay, I'm just selecting those edges, and I'm going to scale those up, okay, and then maybe move these in. I'm going to get a different looking, scale those, whoops, let's scale those in. There we go, so scale those in. And we're doing non-uniform scaling right there. There we go. So let's say this is what our pillow looks like, and we want it to be a little softer, okay? So Control Edge Loops is, how you do that is everything. So I'm going to go wider. You can see how my Control Edge Loops are a lot bigger, okay? And so I'm just looking at, and again, I'm thinking about the distance I have and the distance I have between these, okay? So basically, you're looking for kind of a cubic shape right in there, okay? All right. So depending on how your pillow looks, again, that depends on a lot of things in here. So now we're going to go in here. So now that's going to make it nice and smooth. So now you got something that looks more like that. You got a lot sharper edge here, okay? It's smoother in through here. So let's take a look at what we got. What if we want a sharp edge? What if we want a combination of sharp and smooth in here? Okay, we can do that. Okay, that really depends on the pillow. Every pillow is different. So I'm going to hit the 3 keys. So now this is what I've got. It's very soft right here, and it's super smooth right there. What if we want it super soft right here, but we want it sharper here, okay? Some pillows, throw pillows, have a sharper edge or almost a point, okay? So to do that, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this, okay? This is probably good for you to do too. And now I'm going to move these vertices over. So the whole idea is from the front view now is I'm going to take this vertex here and move it closer to that. You can see that now what I'm going to get here is a lot harder edge. Look at that, see? Isn't that nice? So you can see that that's how you can control, okay, those corners of those pillows. Okay, so I'm going to go back and fix the rest of the corners. Okay, and you can make them as sharp as you want to. As close as you get those, it'll go sharp. If you want to give it a little more pizzazz, make it look a little more like a pillow, then this is your time to do that. But let me show you how to fix all that stuff later. So let me get some corners. Move that over there, move this over here, and just kind of get those about the same all the way around. Okay. There we go. That looks good. Okay, so now we need to add more edge loops. Okay, so we can control the cage a little bit better. So now we're going to go in here and do edge loops, and we're going to do it in the center, like that. And then we're going to do this one in the center as well. Now we can control how this pillow looks. So now I can go in here to vertex and move that vertex down a little bit, and this in a little bit, and this in a little bit, and you can start seeing we can kind of shape this any way we want. Okay, when I hit the 3 key, there we go. Now it's looking more like a pillow. Okay, now let's even go further with this. Okay, so now I can take this, I can go to the edge. Okay, so I'm going to click on the edge, and now I'm going to use this tool called the Bevel Tool. Now when I get to this point, don't use the Bevel Tool too fast. Okay, use it when you're ready. Okay, basically the last part is the Bevel Tool. So now I'm going to go into Edit Mesh, Bevel. Okay, I'm going to set this segment at 1, and we're just going to see what that looks like when I do that. Okay, segment at 1. Okay, so that breaks it apart. Okay, not really what I want. I mean, it's kind of what I want, but it's too far apart. So under fraction, okay, under fraction, I can change that to 0.1. Oh, that's looking better. So now we got something that looks really interesting. So now we're going to go into, instead of 0.1, what's lower than that? 0.05. Let's do about half of that. Oh, that looks even better. So there we go. So I'm comfortable with that. So now I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to face mode. Okay, and now I'm going to use the extrude method. This is how I add the trim. Okay, this is how I add trim to even a pillow or a cushion. Okay, so a trim, what that basically is, the little edge you see. Okay, so I'm going to go Control E, and with the blue, I'm going to use this manipulator tool. You have to use the manipulator, and that's this guy right here. And I'm going to move the arrow, the blue arrow. That's what I want to move, blue arrow out. So notice I'm going to add a little bit of division right here. Okay, like that. So I'm going to bring it out a little bit. I'm going to do it again. Control E and move that out a little bit. There we go. Okay. And so I can scale this. So now I can scale that in a little bit. Like that. So I'm adding little trim to the edge. And you can make this trim as big as you want. Okay. As fat as you want or as thin as you want. Depends on what you're looking for. How it looks, how the trim actually looks. But I'm going to keep it down a little bit, pull it in a little bit, and this is going to be more of just a regular trim. Okay? Don't worry about it not being perfect all the way around. You can go back and probably go in there and move those vertices around if you want to. If you're OCD, you want it perfect all around. I kind of like it when it's not exactly perfect all around. Okay? It adds a little bit of difference to it. So I can go in here and go to the vertex mode, and go to these areas where it's not perfect, which is the corners. That's where it's going to suffer the most. And just select them and move them around. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, and it could make your model look a little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to continue just kind of fussing with this a little bit. And there are different methods out there. If you watch a YouTube video on how to create a pillow, you might find something that's different, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. You guys can look around, and if you find something, a better method, great. I just find this works really nicely for me. Let's go hit the 3 keys. So you can see that I've got the nice little edge there. Okay, it's not defined well enough for me. As far as I'm concerned, it's not defined well enough. How do I define it? Well, you guessed it. Add another edge loop. So now I'm going to bring another edge loop into here, into the scenario. So I'm going to go to edge loop and create an edge loop. And you can see that the closer I get, the tighter that is. It's almost like there's going to be stitching there. There's stitching that's in here. Okay. So when I add that extra edge loop, now it's really going to pop. Watch what happens now. Just that one little edge loop in there. Hit the 3 key, and there it is. There's my beautiful pillow. And the nice thing is you can texture this with a base texture, go into something like ZBrush, and actually add stitching around this area here. Okay, but it's got to be high resolution. Okay? That's how I create pillows. Now your pillow may not look like this. Okay? That's fine. You can go in here because it is low poly. Bless you. And that's on video forever. So now, now we're going to go in here. Now we're going to go in here and we can even make it softer. Well, how do you do that? Well, we got a lot of divisions in here. It's not good to have this many divisions, okay? But what we can do is we can select these vertices in the center and pop those out a little bit, okay? It's really good to do this because that'll make your pillow even softer looking, okay? So I'm going to do the front and the back. Watch how I do this. Now I'm just going to just kind of scale this non-uniformly out just a little bit like that. Okay, so now I'm going to get that really full, like this thing is just bursting. Okay, it's bursting now with fill. Okay, now these are more like throw pillows than they are with regular pillows that you see on a cushion, on a piece of furniture. Okay, now if you still feel like it's still a little bit squarish, again, I can go in here and select these points off in the corners and pull those in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do that real quick. So it will just not look like, you won't see any cubic information at all in this. So if I pull this back, non-uniform scaling that in a little bit, and that's going to really help give you a nice, beautiful pillow. Okay, you got to work at it, man. It's not going to be easy. Pillows are probably the hardest things to make look natural. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and just see how that looks, and that looks a lot better. There really are no edges. Look at that. And again, at this point, right, you can start moving vertices one by one to make it look like it is a real pillow, meaning that it's not perfect, right? I'm just going to move these in a little bit. These in, it's like somebody squished it a little bit, laying on it, that type of thing. And that's a good thing to put in there, okay? Not everything, no pillow is perfect, especially after you sit on it a couple times, all right? You may have parts in it that are kind of pushed in. Just make sure that you don't push it in too far, right? So it looks awkward, all right? Another thing you want to do is this corner's hanging down a little bit lower than the other one. Bring it out a little bit more. Hang it down a little bit more, like that. Bring this corner up a little bit. You know, bring this corner out a little bit. Just make it so it's not uniform, and pretty soon you get something that looks like that, and it looks a lot nicer. It's not perfect, right? Pillows shouldn't be perfect. All right, basically that is how you create a pillow. Okay, always save the low polygon, and then you can go Control D, move it over, and then you can increase, go to Mesh, Smooth, and smooth it to something like 2. Okay, that's it.